How'd you like the fight from your guys this past week?
Oh, it was a long road trip. God, you leave and long flight and 5 days out on the road. The guys, we played hard against Northwestern, just made a couple turnover mistakes that just killed us, didn't give us an opportunity. And, the Illinois game, we couldn't hit a shot and our energy level went down a little bit. Yeah, we had some good looks and just couldn't get one to fall. But no, the guys, for a long road trip, disappointed in the results, but I thought they did compete. We could have did a better job against Illinois, though. And like I said, I thought our energy level went way down when we missed shots.
What's just kind of your personal feelings about going into Saturday and it being Nate's last game and what he's meant to the program and just kind of his 5-year journey throughout being an Oregon Duck?
Well, we have some seniors, TK and Sasha and, Miles going through, Drew. But you're right. The one, Nate's been here 5 years and he's got a home here. Been a lot of ups and downs. He came in as a highly recruited guy, needed to get stronger, got bounced around pretty good inside, and Dante was pretty rough on him in practice. But no, he fought through injuries. He's been a guy that loves the university, loves the state. His family's been great. So no, I'm gonna miss Nate. We've last 5 years, he's, like I said, been through some ups and downs, but he's always been about the team. Very unselfish young man. Always about the team. And so no, he's been great to work with.
As much as the production on the court is going to be tough to replace, how much of his leadership and just the standard of when it's June or July being in the gym for next year's team is going to have to be to replace?
Well, I think the standard is that he cared about the place, and always talking about the program, and he's part of a couple NCAA tournament teams, and he watched Peyton and that group go through when he was in high school, win a couple conference championships and a couple Sweet 16s. So, no, he's familiar with the program, and he's always been, like I said, about the team, about the university. So those aspects will be missed greatly.
Do you think the era of a 5-star kid who's had some ups and downs sticking with one program for his entire career is maybe something that's gone in college basketball?
It won't be as frequent. Back before I got to Oregon, we had a lot of 5-year guys, and one particular guy, Anthony Tolliver, who played 11 years in the NBA, came in as a top 150 recruit, not real high, but, averaged 1 point a game as a freshman, 5 as a sophomore, and then, made a big jump junior and senior. You're not sure if those guys will hang around, and fight through things. He fought through a couple injuries his freshman and sophomore years. So, but it was so good to watch him, and then a junior and senior year, he put the team on his back. And, then, like I said, went through the CBA and, got into the league and spent 11 years in the NBA. But that fighting that adversity, going through those things, probably won't be as often. You won't see those kind of scenarios as often. But, and again, the freedom for players to move around, I don't think that's a bad thing. They get one college career and they have the right to play where they want. But, there's a negative side to it also, not having a home, a place to go to. If you go to 4 schools in 4 years, and that's why, like Nathan, this will always be his place. I think E.J. Singler coming to games and Garrett Sim, guys, Peyton was in L.A. to watch us play USC, Dylan coming back. The guys know where home is. And, you spend 16 years like this, you want those guys to always want to come back. Jermaine was here a couple weeks ago, just makes you feel good, that those guys, call this home and want to come back and see us.
And with that shift, right, in how the game is and how players are moving around so frequently, how challenging is that for you to create that depth that you may need for seasons like this when you have injuries and you might not have that experienced guy at the end of the bench that you can rely on?
Yeah, it is a problem. I addressed that, a week or two ago with, just I didn't do a good job at, getting us deep enough with experience. I think the players can develop into good players, but that experience at this level when you're playing 13, 14 quad one games, you need experienced guys. You go to Purdue and those guys are old. Indiana, those guys are old. Northwestern, Martinelli's been there forever, it seems like, so it is just different. That experience is really important. Illinois' got a couple young guys, but they also got some guys who've been around forever. Boswell, heck, I remember playing against him at Arizona, and so they've got experience and some really talented players, to mix in with them. That freshman guard is unbelievable. So, no, it is different. It's why I like Drew Carter, just in his second year, has been able to give us a little stability, at the point. And he's having to go against some really good point guards, but just being here a year, knowing our system, helps him. And that's where the experience factor, either at the Division I level or with our program, makes a tremendous difference.
I guess in today's world, if you can get a lawyer, you can maybe get another year of eligibility. But does TK have an opportunity because of the JUCO and the
Well, I think the courts ruled against that. We were looking at that, but I don't know where all those court cases are. But the last one that came out ruled against the JUCO guys. So I don't know if that's an appeal or where all that is. Sure be nice if he could come back for another year, but I think the last court case ruled against him.
What's he meant to this program? Because he came in hoping this would be a different year and very productive player. How is he? He himself said, I'm a basketball player. I'm still going to play hard.
Yeah, without Jackson and without the experience in the backcourt, he's had to play a lot of minutes for us and a lot of different roles. And he's put so much pressure on himself to hit baskets that, when things don't go well, I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself. And so, no, he, in games we've won, he's been a big part of it. And when we don't play as well, so that's a lot of pressure on him and Nate, and KJ, offensively. A lot of pressure on Sean to defend and rebound, So, again, without the depth, you see those four experienced players, have given us at least a chance in ball games, which we haven't been able to make pay off. But at least those four have put us in position in some ball games.
Washington looked pretty good last night against USC. How do you think they're playing right now, and what sort of challenge are they going to be for you guys?
Well, they're talented. Diallo and Yates. They're talented. Big fella inside. We're going to play really well. They killed us on the boards last time we played them. So we're going to have to try to get that taken care of and slow down their transition. They scored 92 last night. So, no, it'll be a big challenge. Like I said, their talent level, they've got a first-round draft choice, a guy that'll probably be in the lottery or close to it. And like I said, their guards are big, strong, quick with the ball. We'll have to play very, very well.
What the environment looks like. This is a weird year, different situation. End of the year. Usually your teams are peaking, playing their best basketball right now for a high seed in the tournament. What do you want the environment to look like?
No, our core group of fans have been great. They've stayed with us. You know, I know it's been tough on them. It's been tough on the players. You know, but our core group, students, been solid, even though we haven't been. So, no, I appreciate their support. I would hope they would come out, you know, for Nathan and TK, Sasha, Drew, Miles. You know, we do have 5 seniors making their last appearance. So, you know, I would hope that they would come out for them. It hasn't been the season that we had hoped for. You know, hopefully Way will be able to get back and give us a little bit more guard play there, and guys will step up, play with some enthusiasm, and we'll have a good night.
Yeah, what happened to Way?
He hurt his wrist in the Northwestern game, and wasn't able to practice Sunday or Monday, and said he couldn't go on Tuesday. So hopefully that'll be better here the next couple days practice and be able to go Saturday.